这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
They told him to clean his desk by noon, and then they slid a check across the table that could change his whole life. In the early 1960s, in a gray office building in London, a man named Arthur walked into work like he had done for 20 years. He wore the same brown coat, carried the same leather bag, and nodded to the same guard at the door. Arthur was not famous. He was not rich. He was a company man who believed that if you stayed loyal, the company would stay loyal to you. That morning felt normal until his boss asked him to sit down and close the door. The company was changing. New machines were coming in. Younger men with new skills were being hired. Arthur's job, the job he had built his life around, was no longer needed. Arthur felt the room go quiet. His heart beat fast, but his face stayed calm. He waited for the worst words, the ones that leave you with nothing. Then his boss pushed an envelope toward him. Inside was money. A lot of money. More than Arthur had ever held at one time. It was payment for leaving quietly, for giving up his desk, his title, and his daily walk to work. The boss said, "Think of it as a thank you." Arthur took the envelope with shaking hands. He was losing his job, but he was not being pushed into the street. This was not a slap. It felt like a strange goodbye, cold and warm at the same time. People in the office started to whisper about it. A man gets fired, but he walks out smiling. A man leaves, but his pockets are full. Someone joked that Arthur did not get kicked out. He got a golden goodbye. Soon, people stopped calling it a goodbye. They called it a golden handshake. The words spread fast. In offices, in factories, and later in boardrooms, the phrase took root. A handshake is what you give when you meet someone or when you make a deal. Gold is what you give when you want to soften the pain. Put them together, and you get a polite ending with money behind it. At first, golden handshakes were meant to protect loyal workers like Arthur. Men who had given their best years and now had no place in a fast new world. The money was a bridge. It helped them breathe. Helped them start again. But stories change as they travel. By the 1970s and 1980s, the phrase began to shift. Golden handshakes were no longer just for quiet men in brown coats. They were for bosses. Big bosses. Men who made risky choices, failed, and still left with bags of cash. This is where the story picked up speed. People started to feel anger. How could someone lose the company's money and still win? How could a bad leader walk away rich while workers packed boxes? The same phrase now carried two feelings. Relief for some. Rage for others. One factory worker in Manchester said he watched his manager leave in a nice car after the plant closed. The manager shook hands, smiled, and never came back. The workers shared one last look at the locked gate. That handshake did not feel golden to them. Still, the phrase stayed. Golden handshake became a clean way to talk about an ugly moment. It sounded soft. It sounded fair. It hid the fear in the room when someone knows today is their last day. Over time, the words crossed oceans. In America, companies used them during mergers and cuts. The meaning stayed the same. A large payment to end a work life fast and quiet. But behind every golden handshake, there is a human moment. A pause before standing up. A last look at the chair. A box carried out to a car. Arthur lived for many years after his handshake. He used the money to open a small shop with his wife. It was not easy, but it was his. Sometimes he walked past his old office building. He felt a mix of pain and thanks. The money helped him move on, but it could not buy back time. That is the part people forget. A golden handshake is not just about money. It is about change. Sudden change. The kind that comes without asking if you are ready. Today, many people watching this have felt it in smaller ways. A job ends. A plan breaks. A door closes, and something shiny is offered to make it hurt less. When that moment comes, remember this. Money can help you stand up again, but it does not decide who you are. That part is still in your hands when the handshake is over.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。